For this portion of the test, you'll need to use the equation palette, just like we did when we took the test over confidence intervals. A lot of the functionality is going to be the same. So to start off, we would need to perhaps enter a null hypothesis. So we could type a capital H, use the subscript button 0 for our null hypothesis. And then we might be testing the claim that, for instance, mu1 is, or mu1 minus mu2 is equal to 0. So we could enter mu, use the subscript button 1, press the right arrow key to get out of that subscript box, minus mu subscript 2, press the right arrow to get out of that subscript box, equals 0. Would, for instance, be a potential null hypothesis for one of the problems. So that's not too different than what we did for confidence intervals. But we will have one new type of notation for this test, or potentially for this test, which would be testing a claim about two variances. So to test a claim about two variances, we have the sigma squared 1 and sigma squared 2 notations. So to enter that in, you'd first hit the superscript and subscript button. So that's going to give you some base to raise to a power and then give it some subscript. So we could hit sigma, press the right arrow key to get to that superscript. So we'd want sigma squared, and in this case this would be our first sigma squared, or our first variance. Press the right arrow key again, and then you can hit the fraction key or the slash bar. That'll generate a fraction. Then we can hit the superscript subscript button again to get sigma squared 2, so our second variance. Press the right arrow key twice, and then you'll be able to hit equals 1. So that would be our null hypothesis for testing the claim that two variances are equal. Then if we click out of that box, we could press enter to jump down to a new line and type our alternative hypothesis. If we click out of that box. So our alternative hypothesis would again be sigma squared 1 over sigma squared 2 but in this case, the alternative hypothesis, if we're testing the claim that two variances are equal, the alternative would be that they're not equal. So I just again wanted to give you kind of a brief overview of how to enter that notation, since this is a little bit more complex than things we've entered with that equation palette before. And to get the full points for your test, you would want to make sure you're entering those hypotheses correctly and clearly.